This video is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Hello, baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
And we are joined with former Atlanta Braves second baseman and former All-Star as well, Glenn Hubbard. Glenn, always good to see you, man. Thank you for doing this.
Well, it's good to be here.
Well, I want to talk about Andruw Jones. Of course, now that he is officially a Baseball Hall of Famer, you had kind of an interesting point of view for his career. You had worked with him in the minor leagues and seen him really grow. What were your first impressions of Andruw Jones?
Stay out of his way. He was a talent. You could tell at 16. You know, first time I saw him in instructional league, he took batting practice and he wanted to take ground balls at shortstop. And I told him to get in the outfield and, learn that position. And he probably would have been a pretty good shortstop too.
Absolutely. And obviously, I think his instincts were just incredible.
Oh, yeah. He had everything. I mean, everything. I don't know when he was drafted, but if he wasn't a number one, he should have been a number one. I don't think he was probably, with the Latin players, they don't really get drafted.
Yeah.
They get signed.
When you saw him go up in 96 for the World Series, that's really when he arrived on everybody's radar. But I'm sure you kind of had an inkling that kid was special. What were your thoughts watching him, hit 2 homers in the 96 World Series?
Well, it was great. It was everything that probably every minor league coach that saw him expected. You don't expect that he was 19, I believe, when he did that. But you probably don't expect that, but you knew he had talent. So, talent takes you a long way. Work habits take you further and sustain you. And he's a Hall of Fame. He went from a talent to a Hall of Fame.
I know you worked with him, kind of outside, helping him in the batting cages, that kind of thing in the offseason as well. Just how did he go about his business? What kind of work did he put in with the talent to become one of the greatest defensive center fielders we've ever seen?
Well, he shagged balls in the outfield. And I tell, even when I was with Kansas City as a roving infield guy, I talked to outfielders and I'd say, do you know who Andruw Jones is? Yes, sir. He shagged shallow. So every ball he had to go after, he had to take a route to. He had to take an angle to. And he learned to do that. And then when you're playing in the game and you're playing back, it becomes easier. And but he just had the talent. He had great. There's pictures of him. There's a picture of behind him. The pitch is being made. He's already moving. And the hitter hadn't hit the ball yet. He was anticipating. And just a great talent. Well, 10 gold gloves, right?
Well, let's talk to that. Let's talk about the accolades, right? 10 gold gloves. I think he was top 10 in MVP voting like 5 times. He's got the most defensive runs saved ever in center field. When you look at that, and obviously you have a long history in baseball, you have a wide range of guys you could consider, but where does he rank to you when you talk about, the best center fielders you've ever seen?
That I've seen?
Yeah.
Well, he's at the top. He's at the top. I don't know how many players on other teams would come to me after a game or the next day around the cage and say, how did Andruw get that ball? That's supposed to be a base hit. And, he'd end up being there. Now we were analytics before analytics became. He would play, and if he moved, he would move the other outfielder with him. He had such great instincts. And he was just, I don't know. There's not enough accolades you can say about him, not enough words you can say about him, except for congratulations and about time.
Well, let's talk about that, the about time part, because I, like you, have been kind of wondering when this was going to happen. And I've been pretty outspoken that this dude belongs in the Hall of Fame. I'm so glad it finally happened. But when you look at the Hall of Fame, the fact that it took 9 years to get arguably the greatest center fielder all time in the Hall of Fame, just how frustrating was that for you as someone who coached him and knew how he went about his business and what kind of talent he was?
Well, it wasn't frustrating for me. It was, when I was talking to somebody the other day, when we saw him play, we took it for granted sometimes the plays he made. Hey, great play, and just kind of shrug it off. But they were phenomenal plays. And I think it's something that he should enjoy. And not that you expect it when you start playing. You don't. Well, I'm playing to go in the Hall of Fame, but when you put up the numbers he did, home runs, 400 and what, 25 or 26 or something like that, 24. Um, well-rounded player. He could steal bags for you when you needed them, and just I'm happy he's in finally. I
Absolutely.
love. He's one of my favorite players of all time that I coached and I've been around. I mean, I have a lot of them, but if he called me tonight and he called me Hub Dog, I need to take some batting practice at 6 tomorrow morning. I would get up, make sure my arms warm because of my age, but I would throw in batting practice. I would for him.
Well, let's talk about the kind of person he is, because you know him differently than a lot of us do. We know who he is on the field. We know, he's always got the smile on his face, but who is he as a person?
Well, he's been great to me. He's been fantastic to me. I'm trying to get him on the podcast, but uh, he's always been great to me. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, players. That's the reason I started doing my podcast because I want to know their story. I know your accolades. I know all these gold gloves, but who are you away from the ballpark? What do you do? What do you like? How'd you get involved in baseball? And so oftentimes we don't know that part away from baseball. But when he was around baseball, he did all the work, he put in all the time, and he had God given ability that was extraordinary. Not everybody's gifted like that.
At Glenn Smith Chevrolet, let's kick off 2026 with a bang. We will not be undersold. Chevy Traverse with 3-row seating up to $7,250 off. The impressive Chevy Equinox up to $5,500 off. Enjoy no payments until springtime. Get your lowest price guaranteed today. Smart people from all over the USA come to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Get ready to smile.
What do you remember just about his relationship with the players, right? Like obviously we talk a lot about the Jones boys at the time, and obviously you can't ask for a better teammate if you're a pitcher. But what do you remember about just his relationship with the team itself?
Well, I mean, yeah, everybody appreciated the way he played. I mean, after a lot of games, he would be icing his knees because his knees were sore. The next day, he'd come in and Bobby was giving him a rest. He'd march right into Bobby's office and say, "Hey, Skip, I'm good. I can play." And he played through a lot of pain, through a lot of, those kind of injuries. And I think more than anything else, the pitchers knew that when he was out there, he was going to save a lot of hits and save a lot of runs for him. So he played every day too.
Well, a lot has been made over the years when people talked about him possibly making it into the Baseball Hall of Fame. A lot was said about him, falling off when he got older. You just told the story about him icing his knees. You talk about a position that's super demanding, and every position in baseball is demanding, but center field, the legs are super important. And a guy like that throwing himself at the ball every chance he got to
Well, that's
it,
the thing. He dove a lot. He made some incredible plays, and that takes its toll on your legs, especially when you're diving. He not only took the deep ball away, he took the little what we call in baseball choopy choopies, little over the infield, and he would dive and make those plays too. So just a you can see uh, there's not too many older players that don't fall off. There's only a few that maintain all the way and then they retire, and but he was banged up over the years, but he played through it. Maybe if he takes those days off, maybe he's not as banged up at the end. But his desire to play, and I tell kids, if you want to put up numbers, you got to go out there every day. You got to play games. The stars of the past, they didn't take days off. They played 162 games, 160, 158 games a year. So he wanted to play every day.
Well, and what's interesting about Andruw is there were two different iterations of Andruw. There was the guy who is going to be excellent in the field, and then there's the guy with the bat, right? Later in his career, really excelled, specifically '05, right? 51 homers in '05.
I was there.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch.
Tell me about '05. Tell me about what clicked with him offensively in '05.
Well, I think he really stayed hard through the middle. He used all the fields. He hit a few home runs to right center. Instead of being more of a pull guy, I think that year he just stayed hard middle and just hit a lot of home runs, stayed on a lot of balls. Just really, I seen him hit a home run. He kind of, I don't know whether he got fooled, but he went down to one knee and he hit a home run. I mean, everything was clicking for him. And those are special years. And the good ones have a lot of those years.
For sure, and he had a lot of those years, a lot of terrific years, but he's also got a lot of pretty good teammates. Somebody dropped it the other day from the '98 World Series on the Braves. I want to say there's 8 Hall of Famers if you include Bobby Cox and Sherholtz. What do you think now that you've added Andruw? What do you think having that many Hall of Famers on one team says about the talent that the Braves had, not only that year but throughout the '90s and early 2000s?
Well, we were dominant through the minor leagues too. I mean, if you watch the minor leagues for us, man, we had a lot of talent at every level, and it translated to the big leagues when you win 14 straight championships, division titles. That takes talent. You don't just do that on nothing. You got to have some talent, and it starts with the scouts going out there and getting that raw talent. They can look at a kid and they can see him 5 years from now and project it. And our scouts did a phenomenal job. We had a lot of guys in the minor leagues as coaches and managers that put in the time. And back then you could work a little harder. Nowadays they say it's too hot to get out on the field for early work. Where do you get better? Especially at low A ball, you got to work to get better, and you got to put in the time. And we had a bunch of coaches and staff members that were willing to do that too. So it was a combination of scouts first, finding that raw product, and then putting in the time with them. And let's face it, you're not going to win the Kentucky Derby with Mr. Ed. You got to have a secretariat. You've got to have some talent there. And then as you train that horse, that talent gets better and better. And, you end up winning.
At Glenn Smith, GMC in Opelika. Let's kick off 2026 with a bang. We will not be undersold. Powerful full-size GMC Sierras up to $14,000 off. GMC 2500 heavy-duty pickup up to $9,000 off. No payments until springtime. Get your lowest price guaranteed today. Smart people from all over the USA come to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Get ready to smile.
I want to talk about something that's more akin to your playing days, but it does involve the Hall of Fame. And of course, I'm discussing Dale Murphy here. Now that we've seen Andruw get in, Dale Murphy was voted on by the Modern Era Committee earlier this year. First off, just what would it mean to you to see your teammate finally get
Well, I'd love it because, he at the time he was one of the top center fielders in the game. And, to be able he came up as a catcher. They were talking about him with Johnny Bench, same kind of arm, same kind of, and then to go to first base and then to be put in the outfield and learn that position, and just be great. And you know what? If you want somebody to represent baseball, Dale Murphy is it. He's everything that you wanted as a baseball player, as a man. I know that doesn't come into consideration, I guess, in the Hall of Fame, but his numbers were good too. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah. I hope one day we get Murph, and the good news is he's still on the ballot. He's still got a shot in 2 or 3 years whenever it
Right.
comes back around. And I really hope that we get another Brave center fielder in the Hall of Fame here soon.
So do I. He's a wonderful man. And congratulations to Andruw once again, because he's a special talent, special to me in my heart. And I'm just happy for him.
You should be. And obviously, this is a special time for you to see someone like that you worked with get his due finally. And as Braves fans, I think we're all thrilled for Andruw, and we're hopeful for Dale. But what a time here for Andruw. I know he's excited. And I don't know if you saw, but he was down there in the Dominican at a golf tournament surrounded by Albert Pujols. I think King Griffey Jr. was there the
Good.
moment he found out. And they're all hugging him and giving him all kinds of trash talk and everything else. So it was a good little moment for Andruw.
Well,
But
that's great. And he loves to play golf, from what I hear. He's playing a lot of it, and good for him. He earned it, and he deserves it, and he deserves all the fanfare. And I'm getting ready to be at a Braves Fest with him next Tuesday.
yeah,
He'll be there, and Brian Snitker will be there, so it'd be good to see him again.
absolutely. Well, Glenn, I really appreciate it always. If anybody's out there and you need a new Braves podcast, go check out Mr. Hubbard's. I promise it's worth the listen, and I listen to it quite often. It's really good stuff with a lot of good baseball men, and you're one of them, Mr. Hubbard. I always appreciate talking to you.
Thank you, Tyler. I'll see you up at Daryl Cheney's golf tournament, I guess.
Yeah, he wants me to play. I don't know how that's going to go, but
Ask him to be on my team. I never go to those things to win. I go
good.
there to have fun and support the charity.
Well, you're going to have to carry the load if I'm on your team, but I will definitely ask.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.